Gotta wait for the princess to come up.
Red, is it on? Is Channel 2 on?
You ready then? Please stand for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing. My Deputy Mayor Sarah says the prayer.
Heavenly Father, we ask that you watch over our meeting and that you watch over our community. Help us to keep our island beautiful and continue to make life better for the people, better for everyone who lives in and visits our great city. Amen.
Amen.
And if you could remain standing for a moment of silence for Andy Ziffel, who is a longtime Brigantine resident, teacher at Brigantine North School, and just a great friend to a lot of people on the island. Thank you.
It came in?
Yeah, just going to do the empty bags.
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome everybody to our April 17th council meeting. We did not have executive session, so Fred, you're not on tonight.
Nothing to say, sir. Thank you.
Lynn, can you read the remarks there?
Sure. This is to advise the meeting notices covering this meeting have been sent and posted as required under the Open Public Meetings Act.
Okay, it was advertised in all the newspapers and everything. Okay, great. So no executive session. I need approval for April 3rd council meetings and executive session meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Hear none. Can I have roll call, please?
View?
Yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Need approval for payroll and operating expenses. First and second, please.
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Hear none. Can I have roll call, please?
View?
Yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Abstain on 2792, yes to the rest.
Reardon?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
We're going to open up the council meeting with some new police officers, a couple new firefighters, and some promotions in the police department. First, we're going to start out with the promotions and sergeants. And I'd like Tom Rehill to say a few words about his men.
Welcome everybody. Just want to say, how important role the sergeant is for our police department. Especially today in our patrol division, 10 more patrolmen have 4 years or less experience. Sergeant Finan and Sergeant Glasser are going to play an extreme role in developing these officers. I had the pleasure of having Sergeant Finan and Glasser on my command as a lieutenant. They excelled as patrol officers. They did an awesome job on the whole promotional process. I know for a fact that these guys are going to get excellent sergeants, and they are definitely future leaders of our department. I want to say congratulations and a job well done. And let Sergeant Finan come up with his family and his daughter Peyton. Okay, and Sergeant Glasser's here with his wife Jennifer, his mother and his father. want to let you know that Jack's father is actually a retired captain from Northfield Police Department.
Also, Jack Glasser is the mayor of Summers Point. I'm going to say, I state your names, and then just repeat after me. You should, you want to be a smart aleck, you stay as patrol. I state your name. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Yeah. We need another five. Why don't we just...
Another one?
Can we hold it?
There we go.
I have one now.
Right hand, right hand. Right hand.
Yeah, brother, right.
Mike, right hand on the left hand goes in bottom.
Right hand. Left hand.
Yeah, left hand on the bottom.
Raise your right.
Oh, raise your right.
Raise your right.
Okay.
Listen to the councilman.
Okay. Don't do that. Listen to the mayor. I state your name.
I, John Glasser,
Solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the State of New Jersey
that I'll support the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and bear true faith and allegiance to the same
bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
justly perform all the duties
justly perform all the duties
required for the office of Brigantine Sergeant, Police Department,
required for the office of Brigantine Sergeant, Police Department,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Stay up here. Yep. Bring the other two police officers.
All right, the next two I want to talk about is Officer Carlson and Officer Sherlock. They both started out here as Class 1 officers. I mean, they did an awesome job. Nick was promoted to a Class 2 officer. Tyler went on to Franklin Township. So we put out an announcement, for hiring, and 42 people showed up. Nick and Tyler were definitely the cream of the crop. They rose above everybody else and they finished out with the first two. They did an awesome job. They're going to be a tremendous asset to this department, and I want to say congratulations, a job well done.
Bring your family. Hold that for a minute. I wanna say hi. Want to take it? Put a hand on the bottom. Yeah. I state your name.
I, Nicholas Carlson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will support the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and I faithfully, impartially, justly
and faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform the duties required of officer.
will
Go ahead.
will perform the duties required of police officer
In the city of Brigantine,
in the city of Brigantine
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Nick, stay up.
They never left.
I'd like to bring Chief Platt up for the next firefighters.
Never ends, does it? All right.
So tonight, I have the honor to watch 3 new firefighters be sworn in. As a chief for the last 3 years, these are the first 3 that I've had the privilege to hire, and I have to say it's an amazing feeling to offer the best job ever to 3 guys that are phenomenal guys. So one at a time, I'm going to read a little bit about you, and then come on up and bring your family. Firefighter EMT Tony Puglisi. Come up, Tony. 27 years old, grew up in Brigantine, graduate of Holy Spirit High School in 2010, earned an associate's. He's engaged to his fiancée, Christina. He's a new homeowner here in Brigantine, and he has previously had EMS experience working in EMS. So, Tony Puglisi. Second, firefighter Sean Croce, 34-year-old, lifelong resident in Brigantine, graduate of Holy Spirit High School, class of 2003. Has an associate's degree from Atlantic Cape Community College. Sean and his wife Alyssa were married right here in St. Thomas Church in Brigantine. Are currently renovating their home on Lincoln Drive. Firefighter EMT Doug Brown, born and raised in Brigantine, graduated Holy Spirit 2012, attended the University of Rhode Island, 9 years under Brigantine Beach Patrol, worked as an EMT for TRICARE and APSECAN since 2016. His father is a retired Atlantic City Police Department, and he has multiple family members in the fire service field. And I just want to point out that this was the first time that we held what's called an in-house fire academy. In 6 weeks, in conjunction with Ventnor Fire Department, Lieutenant Fragoli, our training officer, which I don't see him here, and I know he loves the limelight, so I'd love to embarrass him. Him and all of our instructors in the fire department did a phenomenal job in putting together this academy. And in 6 weeks, these guys, they trained their butts off, and they did phenomenal. So I'm proud to welcome these 3 new members to our department. Mayor?
We broke down and got 3 Bibles, and now we got a 4th. Absolutely, no problem.
Right hand up, left hand on the bottom.
Yeah, sure. Kelly Croce, please come up to the front, please. Stand up, Kel. Oh, you are. Okay, be I state your name. Just like the last ones. Get that for me, please. Tell him I'll call him back.
Governor.
Okay. Yeah. See, we wasn't in the budget. Okay, I state your name. You have to get to the fireman one. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the State of New Jersey and bear good truth, faith, and allegiance to the same, and to the governments established in the state and United States and in this state under the authority of the people, and that I will faithfully, impartially, justly perform all duties required of the office of firefighter EMT. According to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations. These guys are all homegrown brigadiners. I'm so proud of them.
We just mumble. I'm going to call for a 5-minute recess so everybody can leave if they want to. Come on, man. Class A. do it today. They want to do it. Bases loaded. They're up 3-1. They're up 3-1. Thank you, Mr. Philly. That's how to watch the Phillies game.
We'll resume the meeting?
He's up on the first 3-2. Yeah, bases loaded, 3-2 for him. 3-2 beat. All the runners fell as soon as he comes into the stretch. They struck the guy out. Yes, that was awesome. Heckle Murray. Scott Henry and Hernandez, homers.
Okay. Need a motion to resume the meeting?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. This part of our agenda, we're going to open it up to the public. Anybody wants to come up and speak on anything that's on the agenda? That means, you know, if you want to talk about the alarm testing or anything that's on the agenda, come up now and,
Just a copy of it.
what do you want to talk about? Let's put it that way.
Right there, by the
door.
They're right here.
We gotta take it.
Andy, I have something to
There you
tell
go.
you.
Okay. Mark,
Okay.
name, address. phone
It's
number.
Mark Lemonager, 815 West Shore Drive, Brigantine. Okay, thank you. Jen. Good afternoon, members of council. I'm going to read this so I feel a little bit more comfortable. Most of you know me as I've been a full-time resident of Brigantine for about 30 years and a proud member of the Brigantine Police Department for 25. I'm now retired and remain a member of our community as I enjoy living in Brigantine. Today, I'm here to request a postponement of the proposed ordinance for short-term rentals. I'll take about 3 minutes of your time. I'm not here to explain or argue my position, but more importantly, to speak for the homeowners who choose to share a room in their home or participate in short-term rentals, as I have thought of doing to supplement my income due to the high taxes of our state. According to estimates, there are in excess of 500 units potentially available for short-term rent. I've reached out to owners and received responses that indicate that many homeowners are not aware of this proposed ordinance. Some responses I have received, and I'm going to quote, "Hey Mark, thanks for reaching out. This is concerning. It's incredibly short-sighted when cities try to restrict short-term rentals as it brings in revenue. I had no idea. Thanks, Mark, for reaching out and informing us. We were totally unaware. Hey Mark, I was unaware. Won't be able to make it. That's crazy. Most Airbnb hosts keep their houses in better shape than long-term rental properties or realtor-represented rental homes." So working as a police officer, I understand the problems that we're experiencing with a few passive homeowners who have created various negative issues in our community. I've seen the same problems numerous times with homeowners that do not rent. In my neighborhood, we have parking problems, noise problems, and overcrowding, and these are all from homeowners. These are not rentals. I'm aware that there was a meeting with the representative of each realtor's office on the island. However, I would theorize that the majority of short-term rentals are managed by individual homeowners and not renters, or realtors, excuse me. It is my understanding a third party has been hired to identify the specific number of short-term rentals on our island. It would seem more logical to me that when they are identified, that they should be notified of the potential changes to their lives before receiving a notice and additional associated costs and penalties, or at the very least be given an opportunity to participate in what I consider a democratic environment on an infringement of their privacy. In summary, I agree that a few passive homeowners that are causing problems should be held accountable. I'm not sure that this proposed ordinance is the best solution. As it is written, there's some ambiguity, including an additional financial cost to our community members. I do not believe that a good portion of short-term homeowners are aware of this proposal, and I think in fairness, the vote should be postponed for at least a minimum, in my opinion, of 2 meetings, approximately a month. I'd like to thank each of you for your time, and I would like to personally thank you for the time you put in representing our community. That's all I have.
Thanks, Mark. Anybody else from the public would like to come up?
My name is Henry Waldron. I live at 314 20th Street South. I'm here as a homeowner. I'm here to also comment on the proposed party house ordinance. I have been involved in trying to come to some balance between those who rent properties and those of us who live here full-time for about 5 or 6 years, since I first bought in 2013. I've spoken with some people informally and with Mr. Bennett formally with regard to some of the specifics that the city is trying to incorporate into the party house ordinance. Unfortunately, things are nebulous, so I don't know how everything will shake out. I do think the idea of holding landlords accountable, as well as the people who rent from them, is important to maintaining that balance. I don't know about the timing, my understanding was that it wasn't certain this was going to be voted on today. I have no problem with other parties who are interested in having a postponement. I believe this is an important enough issue for the city that town meetings, independent of a city council meeting, are fine. I've talked to many people across the island who are interested, and most of these are homeowners, because I am here year-round, and this time of year most people are the homeowners and the year-rounders who are around, who are concerned not only of party houses they know exist, but of party houses that they believe may show up in the near future, in part because of the economics, the changing, and the tax laws make it almost idiotic for someone who has a second house with a mortgage and they're not using it all the time to not try to have it be a rental property. If it's a rental property, you can deduct everything. If it's your second home, you deduct nothing. Because if your first house has a mortgage, that's your mortgage. If it has taxes, similar to what Brigantine has, you're already at the salt limits. So I don't have a problem with things taking a little more time, but I do think that we need to go on with this. Again, I don't know about a lot of the specifics, but I do think the general trend of making rental property owners accountable for the people that they rent to is important. And in a comment to those who only rent 1 or 2 times a year, from what I read, you don't get in trouble as an owner until you've got 4 strikes against you in a 24-month period. I would find it hard to believe that everybody you rented to, each of single weeks, 2 years in a row, would be so bad that you would run into that kind of a problem. So I don't think that the specifics of the proposed ordinance are horrible. I'd like to see more of the details fleshed out. But if small renters, if large renters, and more homeowners want to get involved, I would say, postpone it, but only for a short period of time, and find a way to have a town meeting so that everybody can attend if they really want to talk about it.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public would like to come up and talk about anything on the agenda? I see none. I'm going to close it, the public portion.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
We like to talk about something that's not on the agenda.
Right at the end.
I don't know if that's considered public or not.
No, it's at the end of our meeting. We'll bring you up. Okay, thank you. Okay, I was going to start talking about the rentals, but we'll wait till we get to the ordinance that we're either voting on or not voting on, or voting up or down. Resolution 2019/75.
Number 11.
Oh, I'm sorry. Went right over. Okay. Ordinance number 8 of 2019, public hearing and adoption, repealing and replacing Chapter 246 of the Code entitled Rental Property. I need a first and second.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Discussion? Rick, you want to start us off?
I'll get it started.
Okay.
I've had a couple minutes to talk with Fred. We didn't really get too deeply into this before the meeting. And as a starting point, I wanted to make sure I understand what this ordinance, as it's presently written, will and won't do, and which rentals it will and won't reach, if there are any that it won't reach. And, once I have that clear in my mind, then I guess I'd be in a better position to evaluate things like Mark's opinion about, the wisdom of waiting, and the other gentleman who expressed that it might be good to try and do a little bit more to educate people that this is coming. But to start, am I right that what we will be reaching by the literal language of the ordinance would be, in effect, all short-term rentals defined here as less than 175 consecutive days?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. And within that category of short-term rentals, the obligations that, and for our purposes, I'll exclude the small category that we exclude in the ordinance of owner-occupied, which don't need to get the registration, but would still be covered as rental units. Owner-occupied 2 and 3 unit properties. So everybody would have to get licensed. Everybody except for that category I just mentioned would need to be registered. Everybody would have to, all properties which are subject to the licensure, because they're going to be rented even once during the year for something less than 175 consecutive days, they would get at least one inspection, and properties with an occupancy of greater than, was it, I think 12, would have to be inspected prior to the start of each new tenancy.
They can be. I don't think it is yeah.
Is it?
It is a
that
can. It's not
permissive
a
or mandatory?
Permissive.
Yeah, I don't think it's mandatory.
No, it's not.
And that ties in with the notice 48 hours ahead of time for the tenant turnover.
Okay. And the mechanics of this would be, at least initially, and subject to us maybe hiring somebody to help us, investigate or track down, properties that are being offered for sale that might not have come to our attention. But the mechanics of it would be that realtors would report to us rental properties, I guess. No?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
That would be what they do right now in an attempt to get a handle on them prior to the adoption of this ordinance is the clerks, the clerks in the fire prevention office literally will go on to the web pages, Airbnb, VRBO, BRB Finder, and whatever else is out there, and they will attempt to get as much information as they can. If they find that there's a property in there that's not registered for rental, they take appropriate action. This other company that we're talking about will do all that, will provide us with a weekly report of all the properties currently advertised on any one of the buy-owner sites, along with the property owner's full information. That can be put into an Excel spreadsheet. It can be downloaded as an Excel spreadsheet. Fire prevention tells me that they can then dump it into their system and use that to bounce off of the list of the existing properties that they have. So again, if they're missing something, they can notify the homeowner and say, hey, listen, you haven't registered before you put it out there.
Okay. So owners or those who are renting the properties would need to self-identify. That's an obligation that they would have?
Yes.
If I own a house and I'm going to rent it, I have to tell the city that that's my plan.
Yes.
And put myself into the system.
Yes.
And if I don't, one of the means that we'll have to try and track them down is what you just described.
Correct.
Before we lose the thought, on the version I'm looking at here, section 14, additional inspections, it reads as if a new inspection is mandatory prior to each new tenant occupying, rather than discretionary.
Right. And if you see, they have to provide the tenant's information not less than 48 hours prior to, and that is for the tenant registry that they're going to have, so that if one of the police officers or a fire official goes to the property for a problem, we can just go to that registry and know immediately who the tenants are, as opposed to people just milling about saying this isn't my place. Right after that, it says may be inspected pursuant to this chapter prior to the new tenant occupying the rental unit. So it is not a shall, it is a may.
I think you lost me there.
You had asked before about the inspections being mandatory. They're not.
Okay, I was looking at section,
You're in 14, right?
well, yeah, but it starts by saying
both.
they shall be inspected, and then later it says the rental unit may be inspected pursuant to this chapter prior to the new tenant occupying. As I'm reading that, that seems just like a timing question of when the inspection might happen, but that it still has to happen.
It's an identified problem, Counselor. Thank you.
I'm not pointing any fingers at Fred.
I missed that. I focused on the shall,
It's
the may.
section. You can amend it. You can amend it.
We can amend it.
Yeah, amend it. Anything else, Rick?
Yeah, just one other couple of questions I have. If you could, and let's use the example of Mark, with his house, and let's assume initially it's a house that has an occupancy of less than 12. What obligations are going to fall on him if he plans to rent his home, whether it's one time for a weekend or several times, aggregating 174 days? What will he have to do in order to be in compliance?
The first step will be to register, to let us know that he's going to be a rental property. The end result with all this is they're going to get a sticker for their door, for their front door, so that we know if we go to a call at a house that it is a properly registered property. And then he'll have to follow the tenets of this. If he's only renting it once, when he registers to become a renter, he's going to have to get an inspection just like any other landlord does. Once that happens, the additional inspections may or may not kick in, obviously, because we're going to amend the ordinance as it sits. Unless it is a problem property and we have issues with him turning over the tenant information, then it may warrant more inspections.
And, okay, and assuming no problems, the other way you might get into the multiple inspection thing would be if you're at 12, occupancy of 12 or greater, and you have multiple tenancies during the year?
Yes.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Anybody?
Much different than what we already do.
No, it just...
Except it gives you the teeth.
Yes.
It gives you the teeth if that homeowner continues to rent to unruly tenants, then we have some teeth that we can actually pull the license, and then they can know for, they'd be restricted from renting for a period of time. As it sits now, the law, somebody could rent the home and have multiple tickets issued by the police or what have you, but when you're renting a place for $10,000 a week to 25 people, what's $250 fine going to do?
Correct.
It's really not going to affect the landlord at all. And this is what this whole thing is really set up for. It's not for the small homeowner or somebody who rents a room in their house. That's not what this is about. It's really to give the rental office some teeth to prevent infractions, to continue one after another with the same properties.
You're correct, Paul.
And I don't think that people understand that. I think that they're looking at it, oh, this is, what are they trying to do here?
The ordinance as written almost has to be as generalized as it is. So it makes sense that, we'll use Mark again as an example, that they may think that they're going to get inspected every Thursday or whenever their turnover date is, but that, like you said, that is not the case. This is to give our fire officials, our police officers, the ability to now enforce some of these things. I've been involved in these noisy houses and nuisance properties since before Mr. Waldron got here as a lieutenant and later the chief in the police department, and all we could do is issue summonses. And like you said, a guy making $10,000, $15,000 a week doesn't really care about a small permit, but if we hinder his ability to rent his property out, and we also issue the summonses to the tenants, that's going to make the homeowner probably more apt to comply and keep, the problem properties at a minimum.
I lied before. I have one more question. If we adopt tonight, then this would take effect in the normal course, which would be how soon?
20 days?
When it's advertised, so I could get it in Monday.
20 days from the advertisement.
Okay. So we'll say within a month, certainly.
Yes.
What are the pros and cons, as you might see them, of any delay to make some efforts to further publicize or advertise or educate the public about this coming? Because if it takes effect in 30 days, then presumably, right up front, we'd need people, we'd have to have a system in place to take the registrations and et cetera, which I guess we can do, but people would need to know that within that time period, people would go to do seasonal rentals or whatever, weekend rentals when the weather's nicer, that they're subject to risk, penalties. They have to comply at a minimum.
The major and most important con that I see out of introducing a delay to this would be that these properties, and if you go online, I check, I don't say all the time, but frequently I check these sites just to kind of get a feel for the flow of the rentals. And the further we push this out, the less likely we are to hit some of the early to midsummer rentals. They're starting to fill up now. So, for example, if we table this until the end of May, it's not going to take effect till June. Most of the summer rentals, the Airbnbs, are going to be taken care of and gone, and it'll be too late to do anything about them.
Okay. And not disagreeing with that, I think that's sound reasoning, but what is the trigger on any given rental for them to have to register? Let's say it's an initial rental. So if this takes effect whenever, is a rental agreement which may have been signed, but the occupancy, the rental, hasn't actually started yet, is that going to be subject to this? Or is it only going to apply to those rental agreements which have not yet come into existence? Distinguishing between the paperwork and the actual occupancy.
So, yeah.
I think it applies right away.
Okay. Now, so who does it catch? Let's say I have a contract for somebody to rent my place beginning June 1st, but this takes effect sometime in May. So is that rental going to be subject to this? Because they haven't actually occupied.
That owner has to come in and comply.
Okay, because the actual term of the rental begins after the effective date of this ordinance.
I don't think it's going to be driven by the...
anyway. Right. Or are you asking if this is somebody who hasn't even stepped into the arena yet? Let's say they rented their house for June 1st, no paperwork or anything has been signed, and prior to him signing the paperwork, or...
Well, no, even if the paperwork's signed, but if the actual tenancy doesn't begin until a future date, and that future date is beyond the effective date of this ordinance,
then they should have to be in full have to be in full compliance.
We're talking about people that are being ruly and unstable and upsetting the neighborhood. These houses, I've been dealing with this for a couple of years now, and I've been, and the houses are getting $10,000 to $15,000 in rent, and we're giving them a $250 fine, which is a joke. It's not after a guy like Mark that has a $30 night house or anything like that. It's for people that want to go to bed at 11 o'clock at night and don't have to have a bachelor party next door. So, we want to keep Brigantine a family-oriented place, and we just want to control things. That doesn't mean you can't have a party or anything like that. Just want to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand. And it's just not 22nd Street or 21st Street or 20th Street. It's becoming all over the place. Roxanne, me and her, when she was a temporary manager, we went to people's houses. That person's house is up for sale because they have ruly people next door when they rent. So this just gives us the teeth. This is, it's like Mark being a police officer. Doesn't mean everybody's breaking the law. We have laws for reasons. And we just want to make sure that we keep our community in the right path that we expect out of Brigantine, When you advertise 25, sleeps 25, 26 in a house in Brigantine, I told our solicitor that that's not a residential home anymore. It's in a residential neighborhood. That's a hotel. They're running hotels. Not Mark with one room or anything like that. That's not what this is all about. It's about these 26, 27 people. One time we were at, a police officer said there was over 50 people in the house. And we were going to do it with parking. I find out they're having a bachelor party. They're bringing buses in. They're just dropping them off. We can't have that. This just gives us the teeth. We're not out to hurt. I think the first thing I said to Fred, that I do not want to hurt the little duplexes or, Mark or anybody else out there. This is for these big giant homes that it affects the whole neighborhood, not just one or two people. The whole neighborhood. Telling me they're putting cones out in the street so they have parking out in front of their house. We don't have that in Brigantine. It's ridiculous. So this is just a tool that we're going to use if we need to use it. That's all we're trying to do here. And Memorial Day's coming up, and it's going to start, and then Airbnb or whatever, if they're going to have 26 people in the house, hey, you can have 26 people in the house. If the cops never are called, or our registration people never are getting called, they're fine. Just don't have the bachelor parties and the screaming and hollering, and the 22nd Street or the 21st Street.
The answer to one question may make the smaller people a little bit calmer. If you already have a permit, you've gone through the licensing to your rental property. When do you have to get your next license? Let's say you got a license a month ago and it's good for 6 months.
Yearly. Yeah.
So if this new law goes in, some of the conditions of the law would have to be met, because everyone immediately have to get a new rental license.
No.
So it'll get phased in as far as the paperwork for the smaller,
Nothing's really going to change for the small rental.
because they have to get inspected anyway.
They got to get inspected for the season
Correct.
anyway. You should be registered anyway, but they're going to catch you now because they're going through the internet lists and finding properties that may not be registered but are scheduled for rentals. So if you're not registered, you should be registered, okay?
Well, let's let Mark give me a minute. We'll go right to public session.
Yeah, I'd
you wanna
just like
say
to say, you can advertise. I have someone right now that called me about the rental for the summer. You can advertise your rental for the summer, but before the people move in, you have to have it. You have to pay the registration fee and have it inspected. Right. That's what you do anyway. So
Everybody gets it inspected, whether you have 5 bedrooms or you have 1 bedroom that you're renting. It's the same fee and it's still the same inspection.
So
Nothing
then,
has changed.
the other thing is, like the Mayor said previously, this is not something new. Over the last several years, we've gotten numerous calls and complaints about the party houses, and we've had ward meetings over the last several years, and at every ward meeting, we've had someone ask about this, and what can we do about it? So now we're going to do something about it, and if there's some issues, we can amend it. So
Correct.
I don't see any reason to delay it. Rick, do you see any reason to delay it? You were talking about delaying it.
Chris. So I see in your... What I did there, Mike, was called
Specifically.
a question. I asked a question
Okay,
to get information.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Under types of fees, it says the city shall charge a license fee, and a separate fire inspection fee. It doesn't spell, I'm on page 14.
14.
246-30. I don't see anywhere where it actually mentions what the fee is.
That's in our fee ordinance.
In the
It's
fee
in our fee
ordinance.
schedule, yes.
Can you tell me what the fee is?
I cannot. Off the top of my head, I believe it's $50
Everybody pays the
and,
same fee.
yeah, the fees haven't changed.
Well, it did change because we put the $50 on.
Yeah. I don't have the update.
Yeah,
I think it's
there's-
I think it's $150.
I see the $50 late payment,
I think it's 100.
Yeah, a rental registration is on.
150.
$150 for a year.
Mm-hmm,
And then on top of that, there's a fire inspection fee
correct. That's once a year.
once a year. Okay. So maybe $250, and then you're done for the year.
Inspection, that's included with the rental registration, that's not a separate fee. If you fail,
Well, the
then you have to
reinspection.
pay.
Then
For
there's-
Reinspection.
Reinspection, okay.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
$150.
So it's $150, gets you everything for the whole year.
Mhm.
I think it's, and it gives you protection. It gives you a lot of protection, as well as protecting the neighborhoods and the city. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, just like our city manager said, this is just to identify specific properties that are having specific areas or what have you, more or less, that's what he said, to address those types of problems. Even, for instance, I know up in Belmar, they had a big issue with this some years back, and they had their own animal house designations that they came up with. So, and also, in addition to that, what we're just trying to accomplish here, we always have the severability clause, that we can always address something up the road if we had to amend anything, and just to keep everything running smoothly. So, I see no issues.
Thanks, Dennis. Okay, I'm going to open it up to the public now. Mark, would you want to come up and talk? Not yet. Not you guys. No, you, Mark, yeah. This side of the room, not yet.
Jim, believe it or not, I'm going to make this very quick. My point is, it's not just renters. You're taking a problem, and all the short-term rentals are getting addressed. I really don't have enough information to articulate what I want to say, because I just found out about this. And what I have found out, just reaching out to a dozen people, almost all of them responded to me, they were not aware of this ordinance. And I don't think it's fair. I think, well, I'm just going to leave it with this. Don't people have a right to participate in government decisions? Because all I'm asking for is 2 council sessions or 30 days. This room, I'm almost guarantee, will be full of people. You're either going to have them before, or you're going to have them after, when they get hit with this. And I think it would be better for everybody to at least give them the opportunity. If they don't want to show up, then
Mark,
pass
what
the
do you mean by
ordinance.
hit with this? We're not setting anything.
It's-
We're
it's-
just making an ordinance and, this
Again,
will,
I have certain thoughts in my head, but they're my thoughts.
tenants are not really,
Yeah, no, I
Unruly, I'm
understand there's
sorry.
a problem that needs to be addressed, but I'm not sure this
Thanks,
is the way to address it.
So, Mark, I have one question. Of the dozen people that have responded to you,
I'm not-
would you happen to know if
Don't
they're all
believe it
registered?
doesn't.
Did they have rental registration?
No, and I don't know. I only reached out to fellow short-term owners that I was aware of. I just went online, like the city can do, and reached out to them via an email. Are you aware that? And those were the responses that I received. I'm not going to identify names or anything
No,
like
no,
that.
I'm not asking names, but
Okay.
it's really not changing anything. It's giving us, the city, more power to
The
force.
government involvement. Believe it or not, I don't believe in big government, even though I respect our government and I love our police department. I think sometimes government gets involved where they shouldn't, and I think this is one of those issues. And I really don't want to ramble on. My point is, I'm simply asking for council to delay it. A short period of time, opposition, not so much opposition, because we have the same goal. I want to live in a community that doesn't have the parking issues, the party houses. I'm experiencing that now with my neighbors. How are we going to address that? I have 4 specific houses on my street on West Shore Drive, across from the bay, the 6-room homes, elevators, et cetera. They bring in families, they bring in people. I have no idea who they bring in, but I know they fill their homes to the excess where I can't, on West Shore Drive, in the golf course area, I can't park. I don't complain because it's a beach community. But what I'm saying is,
Well, if there's a
what are we
problem,
doing about those people? Why are we just going after people who are just trying to get by, with $11,000 taxes?
I respect what you're saying, Mark, about nobody wants to see big government micromanaging anything at all, and that's not the intent of this. And if there's other problems, those properties that you mentioned, say if anything actually did have a problem that fell under the purview of this ordinance, then
Jim takes
it
care
could
of
be
it. Not specifically him, the police department. I mean, they addressed the issue by responding to the calls of fireworks that are falling on my house, the noise from parties, backyard barbecues. But see, I'm rambling on, and that's what I didn't want to do.
You bring up a good point, though. You bring up a good point. The intent is not to micromanage, though. And I'd like,
I understand the intent.
Mr. Waldron spoke about, I've been down that street. It's not far from me and a couple others. And it is problematic. Some people, they're all, lawn chairs are all out in the lawn. There's like cars all over the place. People can't even park their own. They don't have their own private driveway. They can't
Our
even...
community's changing. It's not only on the beach blocks now. It's back in the golf course area, from the long-term homeowner areas, the full-time homeowner areas. I'm just saying, in this particular instance, with this particular ordinance addressing short-term rentals, I'm asking for postponement so I can reach out to other people. And I thought the town meeting was an awesome idea. I think he's open to it, as I'm sure that other homeowners are as well. You guys are still answering questions on the ordinance. Rick, you had some awesome questions. I was really respectful of what you had to say. And, those questions shouldn't be being addressed right now. It should be at a town meeting and having everybody on the same side. That's
Mark.
Anyway, thank you
Excuse
very
me,
much.
Mark. Can I ask one question, though? Mark, I just want to ask one question. I want to make sure I understand your statement, just so I understand it clearly. Is the issue with the ordinance right now that people who are doing the short-term rentals and the Airbnb stuff, is that they're not registered with the city right now and they're not getting proper inspections? Because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like the issue is that we're making sure that everybody's registered, they're getting the proper inspections so everybody's safe, but what you're saying is that we shouldn't do that.
I'm saying that I don't have enough information at this time to be able to, I don't want to use the word argue, but I'm thinking of court when I say argue, because I'm not
Sure, absolutely.
arguing.
No, I just want to understand your
Because I
statement.
certainly agree with the end result. I definitely agree with the end result of the party houses. I know as a police officer how frustrating it is that you can't go in and turn down music, if you recall.
But I guess the issue is...
You get a guy, and you give him a warning, and you get 2 more calls. They turn up the music as soon as you leave. I understand you need that grid.
But should people register and be inspected if they're going to rent their properties? That's just what I want to understand.
Since my opinion is no. However, I can't say that emphatically because I don't have enough information. I do know that there was a huge issue with Atlantic City when they were going to ban short-term rentals. And one of the guys that responded to me happened to help coordinate that.
We're not banning nothing.
No, they didn't. But
No,
they
we're
were.
not banning either.
No, I understand, we're not. But what I'm saying is, the issue is happening all over as a whole, the United States.
But before we did registration,
5 minutes are up, sorry.
Thank you.
I just want to say
Thank you.
before we did registration here, when Phil Gunther was our mayor, we had a lot of problems. Before we had all this inspections and everything, we had a lot of problems in
I
Brigantine.
agree with you. I agree with you there.
That cleaned it up. And Jimmy being the chief, he wasn't the chief at that time, he was probably a patrolman. I don't know if you would agree that cleaned it up, to help things out and everything, but we definitely need to have inspections and making sure that the people can buy their house here and make sure they can live peacefully. That's all I'm saying. It's not after...
I hear what you're saying, and
Not after a one-bedroom rental for a night or anything like that. I told you before, it's the 26, sleeping 26.
Are you going to yell at me again?
I think she wants you to sit down.
Can I ask you a question, Mark? Did you rent your house last year?
No, I just got my
This is a-
CO recently.
Okay,
However,
but-
I also got my final taxes, and it's more than I thought it was going to be.
No, but what I'm saying to you is,
I don't
so
think
you're a
so.
first-time renter? You're a first-time renter?
I'm contemplating doing short-term rentals in my home. I have a big enough
Okay,
home.
well,
where I can
what we're
rent
asking
a
is
room.
no different than we've been doing for eons.
Right.
Okay?
That's not-
You
that's
register
not-
your home, you get it inspected prior to people moving in.
That's not my issue. That's not my issue.
It's not gonna, nothing's gonna change for the average person.
Well, I...
The only thing it's gonna change for is somebody who has these hotel-like rentals in residential areas, and we have no teeth to do anything about anything that they do to disturb their neighbors.
I'm not saying don't do something. I'm not saying that.
Well, this is
All I'm
our
saying
plan
is
to do
in order
something.
I need to be able to have time to reach out to the community and see if they are as concerned as I am, or is it just me, and what their concerns are. I think it's important for the people of this community to participate in the government if they have issues that affect them personally. And this is going to affect many of our community members. As you have said in the paper, as I understand it, there are close or over 500 units available on short-time basis.
Okay,
well,
no. I'm running the meeting.
Yeah.
Before Lynn Howard, thank you, Mark, for your comments.
Thank you.
And we'll be
very
talking.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
I just want to say one last thing too, real quick.
Well,
Because,
we're still doing public session.
right, well, I'm making a comment about it. the
Okay,
short-term
maybe Mrs. Phillips is going to have to say something. You can have a comment with her.
rental. Okay, yeah, well, I wanted to respond about something Mark said.
Oh, okay. Well, can we wait till I ask?
Sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mrs. Phillips? I'm sorry, yes, Mrs. Phillips.
A&H Phillips, 308 27th Street. Two questions concerning whole house rentals in the single-family zones. I have one in mind that's on my block and has been a problem in the past. First question, who is going to be called, should be called, which city department gets the call when a neighbor discovers violations? Who is going to monitor this and be the law enforcement agency? That's number one, and please answer when I'm done. Two, I noticed in the ordinance that the maximum number of occupants is 24. That's a lot of people. How does that connect in any way to the number of bedrooms in this rental property? Are you going to know how many bedrooms there are, how many people, and who's going to count the people in the house? I mean, people are renting these three-story mansions, and they have caused some problems, causing the neighbors to wonder and call the police and so on. Will it be the police, the fire department, or some other department in the city? So I think, who came up with the number of 24? Is that something that's standard? And we're talking about a whole house now, and not family members. These are people who are paying to stay there. So who says it should be 24 or fewer? I mean, that is a lot of house, even if you got 7 bedrooms. Who's going to come in and count the people? So please consider these. I have no, just having experienced this, the noise can travel down several houses down the block.
Sorry.
And the people who own the house aren't staying there, and they're not using it except as a rental property. So, things to consider, please. So, appreciate your answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
All right, to answer Mrs. Phillips's first question about the enforcement side of it, the primary enforcement agency is going to be the police department. They'll respond just as they always have. However, with this ordinance and working with both the chiefs, there's going to be a joint response now, if you will. The fire department has inspectors on each one of their platoons. They are fully versed in the fire code, the fire prevention laws, all of our ordinances. The officers will go down there. If it deems that a complaint needs to go forward, we will get somebody from the fire department down there. If they're not available, we'll have our reports made available for fire prevention, and they can follow up immediately, and the item will go into their system. With regards to the 24 number, that is a state law. Anything above that, it becomes a commercial entity. Can no longer be considered residential, Mrs. Phillips.
But also if you look at occupancy, if you look at section 25, limitations on occupancies, it actually sets up parameters on what houses can have, and it also says that you can't have people sleeping in public areas, kitchens, things like that. So it is addressed, Mrs. Phillips.
When they do their inspections...
They do the inspections.
They'll get a tally of the bedrooms, public areas, private areas, and things like that, so...
I think we also asked them to do a layout.
They do have to provide a layout, and it goes also to what I said previously about the tenant registry. So supposedly, we will have a complete accounting of all the people that will be staying there. Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome. Anybody else from the public wants to speak on this matter?
Yeah, I'd like to address a couple of issues. Number one, the idea that this won't affect small rentals, it will in one important way. If I have a noisy, full-time neighbor, I get to know who they are, and if they're crazy enough, I can try to do something about it. The loophole for rental properties is that you never even get to know or discuss with the owner, the actual owner of the property, under existing regulations. Citations are always issued to somebody who's renting. If you look at the old ordinance, as far as I know, there was only one time in the 3 or 4 years of that ordinance's existence that somebody followed all the way through, because you had to have citations issued by the police department, then you needed to have a neighbor complaint to fire prevention after the fact, and then fire prevention had to go and pull files from the police department to confirm that there was a citation. Then it was only against, typically not the owner, but the renters. In one case that I am aware of, the owner did get involved only because they were renting and they didn't even have a certificate of occupancy, much less having even applied for a rental license. And that cost the owner, I believe, $160 for some sort of citation. So the existing law right now says if you own your property, if you live there year-round, you're responsible for the noise. If you rent it out to somebody else, you're completely absolved. So that would be one change. Other than that, I don't see this as changing much. I will say I'm pleased that the city is responding and addressing this issue as fast as they are. I will also say I have enormous numbers of people who email me all the time about this specific issue. And some of them, because they fear government, are worried at the speed of what's going on and the fact that they haven't had a chance to hear from themselves that either it's not going to protect some people or it's going to address the issue or things of that nature. And that was the only reason why I said that if it got held up a little bit, just so people were informed, I think that everybody who wants some regulation of large houses, would be happy with this ordinance. I don't think that they understand it. And so that's the situation as it stands now. And I know that there's lots of little details that'll have to be worked out later once the ordinance is in force.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public would like to speak on this matter? Captain Rick?
Yeah, I have a question.
Rick, you're going to have to name...
Rick Palatucci, 1370 Bell, I'm sorry. 314 17th Street South, Brigantine, New Jersey, 08203.
We know our zip code.
Yeah. Just in case, I want to make sure it's complete.
Thank
anyway,
you.
the bottom line,
Thanks, Rick.
is there any way to differentiate the person like Mark who has one bedroom that he wants to possibly rent to defer his cost versus, for example, one block from my house, which is approximately at 17th and Ocean, is a corner property that has continual parties, 5 and 6 cars there. As a good neighbor, I really don't want to report the person. Relatively speaking, the lid is on things, but that's the concern I have, that we have these large homes lots of people,
That's what this...
no control.
This is
So what I'm trying to say is there a way that the board could stipulate that if an owner needs to rent one room for financial reasons, that could be possibly taken into consideration when you write the ordinance?
How about if the one bedroom, the guy, whoever they put in there becomes unruly? So, it's not to hurt anybody. This is just a tool. You know, if you and your girlfriend is sleeping, and the guys next door are just screaming and hollering, you say, "Hey, buddy, can you keep it down over there?" And they give you the bird or whatever. Well, then we have a tool to go in there and say, "Yo, knock it off," because all they're doing is getting a $250 fine under this ordinance, not this one, on the other one, and you're getting $15,000 a week. What's $250? And you have 5 couples in there.
I don't think
It's
that's...
$50 a couple. It's not to hurt Mark. This will never come into play with somebody like Mark, unless he have an unruly customer. It's the whole thing. It won't hurt anybody. It won't hurt him. It won't... Not Mark, we already...
So, just to clarify, are you saying that if
This is all it is a tool. Rick.
if a person has one bedroom, they decide to rent it out periodically,
They can rent it out.
they can rent it out, but do they still have to comply with the ordinance of getting the...
Either the old ordinance or this one, it doesn't matter. You still have you have to do the same thing.
Okay,
It's the same amount of money, it's the same everything. It's not, nothing changes on that.
all right, thank you.
It's just, it gives us tools to get into the person's house and see what's going on in there.
I think what people don't understand is we have had an ordinance in the past for many years, and this is just...
But it had no teeth.
This is just adding some teeth to the ordinance, to give our police and our fire some
Inspections.
authority to go in and inspect it, to contact the owners. And I would probably estimate 95% of the owners are off-site. They're absentee landlords. They're not like you, Mark. They don't live in the house and
Right.
rent out a room or two out of there while they're there.
Yeah, they're not going to get unruly with him there.
Right.
There's no way in the world.
It's
I know that.
not against you.
Yeah, there too.
It's not against you. It's against those absentee landlords that are...
They're back home
they
sleeping
really-
while
yeah.
the neighbors down here aren't, so.
And it just protects our citizens, our other residents.
Okay, anybody else from the public? We're still in public session here.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Seeing none, I'm going to close it. I'm going to refer it over to Councilman Reardon.
I'm good.
Now he's going to take his pen and go home.
Things to talk about.
Dennis?
I was just going to say, just like Jimmy mentioned before and what Mark alluded to with law enforcement, myself being in law enforcement for my entire career, discretion is always, as it always has been, it'll be exercised. Nobody's looking to cause any problems really for anybody. And these problem properties, essentially, they're going to red flag themselves. And that's, and obviously the neighbors will know, but, they're going to bring attention to themselves. So nobody's looking, obviously, to, we're not looking to have our law enforcement branches go out there and, so to speak, harass anybody at all. That's obviously not the intention of this. It's well-structured, and like I mentioned earlier, we can always go back, keep this thing in full force, and amend anything that needs to be amended. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Anybody else from council? Okay, hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Are we doing...
We have to amend it?
Oh, yeah, we got to amend it, I'm sorry.
Mayor, if I may, during the course of the discussion, you focused on Section 14, which has one sentence that uses the word shall, making the inspection for units of 12 or more mandatory. From the discussion I heard, I believe council wants to make that may. So a motion to amend Section 14, removing the word shall and inserting the word may, would be in order. Start with that motion, and then we'll go from there.
I have I need a motion on that.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, can I have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Are we voting on the amendment?
On the
On the
amendment.
amendment.
Just an amendment.
Yes, on the amendment.
I'm sorry. Only on the amendment. Go ahead.
Yeah.
On the word may.
Yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
I have some slight misgivings about that, because I don't think, given the limited category of properties that would apply, that the mandatory multiple inspections could apply to, and balancing, the probable income that they're getting versus the minimal imposition, I don't know that it should be discretionary, but I'll go along with it, yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And Mayor, at this point, a motion to approve the ordinance as amended would be in order.
I need a motion to approve the ordinance as we amend it with the word may in it.
So moved.
Second.
Can I have roll call, please?
View,
I'm voting yes, and I'm concerned about delaying, the possibility of delaying the vote because of the onset of our rental season coming up, and I think that would just push us back further into the season. So I'm voting yes.
Lettieri?
For the same reason, I'm going to vote yes. And again, I would like to say that this law is no different than it was before. It just puts more teeth in the enforcement end of it so that people are not slapped with a minor fine for something that happens over and over and over again. With this ordinance, if someone has a number of infractions, what they can do is pull the license. Now that person's rentals for the rest of the season are done because they no longer have a rental license. Up until now, we haven't been able to do that. And I think that that's the teeth of this, or that's the gist of this whole thing. It's not anything for the average person who's been renting to worry about. It doesn't really concern small rentals or room-by-night rentals. It's more about the big buildings that are a constant problem. And my vote is yes.
Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
As I guess it's pretty evident, everybody here is on and has been on the same page in terms of the need to do something meaningful about the problem properties, and I think this is the right direction to go with that. I was initially unsure whether what we're doing might impose unreasonable burdens on, call them non-problem properties, everybody else who, would be brought into a system that they're not presently part of, but having heard the manager's explanation of the practice as it will play out and the wisdom of doing it now, I am persuaded it's something we should do now and informed that we're looking at. And then Councilman Haney's reference to the severability clause kind of sealed the deal. So yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Sarah?
So the last thing anyone on this council wants to do is hurt any business. And one of the things we also want to do too is make sure that we treat all the businesses on the island equally. Every business on the island has to register with the city. We have safety inspections and fire inspections, not just for the businesses, but also to protect the consumers and the customers of those businesses. This ordinance doesn't change that for any of the short-term rentals. But what it does is it makes sure that everybody's treated the same and that the owners of these businesses are held accountable. We've gone through a long period of time where people have not been held accountable, and it's the neighbors around them who suffer, and we hear the stories. Responsible business owners who do the right thing, nothing's going to change for them. I vote yes.
Mayor Simpson?
Well, it's an ordinance. It can always change, like we're changing it now. Mark, I give you my word, if you find problems with this and it affects you in any way that the old ordinance wouldn't have affected you, we'll look at it again and we'll bring it up again, and we have to change it, we'll amend it, within reason. So I know where you're coming from, and I worked on this thing very hard with Fred and his assistant, and For the last, since I've been on council, we've been fighting this. So I'm voting yes. Thank you.
Motion carries.
Thanks, Lynn. Okay, Resolution 2019-75, award contract for alarm testing, monitoring, and service. Need a first and second?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
Jalupri.
Yes.
Reardon.
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mayor Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 2019/76, authorizing purchases of docking material. First and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Questions on this? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
Jalupri.
Yes.
Reardon.
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mayor Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 2019/77, AXA, Deferred Plan. What's AXA? Is that the company?
That's the company, yeah. It's AXA Equitable Deferred Compensation
Right.
Plan. It is another pre-tax deduction and savings plan that employees can take advantage of.
Oh, okay. I need a first and second.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay.
Sorry.
Any questions on the deferred compensation plan? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
Jalupri.
Yes.
Reardon.
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mayor Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 2019/78, State Firefighter Certificate Program. I need a first and second.
So moved.
Second.
Tiger, you want to give us a
Sure.
update on this?
Sure, Mayor. As I alluded to when we swore in those 3 firefighters earlier, this was the first time we did an in-house academy, and we did it in a combination with Ventnor. So Ventnor was the lead on this, and so Ventnor was the one that put in all the paperwork to get certification for the firefighters through the Firefighter 1 program in the Division of Fire Safety. So after how successful it was, because our guys are already on the line, had we went the other route, they'd still be in class till July. So our guys are already on the line, on the job, and we're in April. So what we decided with the Level 2 instructors that we have and the Level 1 instructors and the phenomenal job that they did, we decided that this was in the best interest of the fire department and the city to file the proper paperwork with the state so we can in fact hold our own academy in-house and train our guys quicker and have them ready for the line a lot quicker. So by doing this, and again, Lieutenant Fragoli took the lead on this and has done a phenomenal job with this program as our training officer, and he has been working with the state to get this program running for us, and this is the first step to have council approve it.
I think that's a great idea, because I know every time we hire somebody, we're hostage to...
Yeah, about 6 months it would take to get them through, and
Yeah.
these guys hired mid-February, and here we are just a couple months later, and
Yeah, I know with
they're on the
Captain
line.
Daly and everything like that, he knows the fire department inside and out. I would have no problem with him training any
Yeah,
fire.
Captain Daly does our EMS training, and Lieutenant Fragoli is our lead. He's our training officer. And we have about, out of 35 guys, we have probably 12 instructors certified with the Division of Fire Safety.
Any questions from council?
No, just a statement. Can say I'm sure all of us are always very impressed with the innovation that the fire department shows. You guys are always on the cutting edge of new technology, new techniques. And I love also that you share that information with the police department and also the beach patrol, and it's been a great partnership that you guys have, and I think it really speaks well of you and, everyone who serves under you.
Thank you, Vince. Yeah, it is truly a team effort between all of us.
Okay, could I have roll call, please?
You?
Yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
Jalupri?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 2019/79, change order, consultant engineer services. Need a first and second?
So moved.
Second.
I second my own.
Any questions on this consulting engineering? Okay, can I have roll call, please?
You?
Yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
Jalupri?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Sarah?
And this is a change order, correct?
Yes.
I just want to make it clear for the public, the change order is for the work at the city dock,
No.
the rowing club?
The dock at the rowing club had to be replaced. We used funds from the city allowance in the bulkhead project. This $2,500 fee is for Roberts to do the inspection of the work.
All right, perfect. Yes.
Mayor Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 2019/80, construction permit development fund refund. Any first and second?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions about the refund? Okay, hear none, can I have roll call, please?
You?
Yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
Jalupri?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We're going to head into our consent agenda. I am going to pull letter 4, carnival request, to get some further information on that. So we're going to have the St. Thomas raffle license, Elks raffle license number 879. The St. Thomas raffle license was 878. The Brigantine PBA bike rodeo request, Green Team citywide yard sale request, Surf and Land Fishing Club tournament request, and the Boy Scout Troop 55 camping bonfire request. Need a first and second.
So moved.
Second.
The only question I would have is the bonfire. You okay with that, Chief?
Unfortunately, it doesn't matter if I am, because I don't have that authority. That's the fire official, Jack Murray, and a permit was placed for that, and they've done this before, and the proper permits were filed, and the fire official did give approval for it. Yeah.
Okay, can I have roll call, please?
You?
Yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
Jalupri?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We're going to have council manager discussion. Jim, you have anything for us you want to discuss?
No, Mayor, I do not.
Okay. Fred?
Fine, sir.
Okay, it's your turn, Karen.
All right.
Go right down the line.
Just going back to the consent agenda, we just approved the citywide yard sale request. That citywide yard sale will be held Friday, Saturday, Sunday, May 24th, 25th, 26th. That's Memorial Day weekend. We have, in the past, produced a map, a citywide map, a virtual map, excuse me, where everybody's address, that anybody who wants to have a yard sale for free can have their yard sale put on this virtual map. People put it on their phone, push on the dot, their address comes up. It's really great. To do that, it is brigyardsale2019@gmail.com. This will be published in the paper in the future, so just keep your eye out for that. We had a green team meeting this week. Lot of talk about our first farmers market coming up Saturday, the 25th of May. Again, Memorial Day weekend. And the community garden is coming along nicely. They've planted lettuce and spinach and peas already. They're all excited, and they also thanked John Doring and his men for all the help that they give down at the community garden. There is also a workshop happening in Ventnor, actually a community meeting happening in Ventnor next Saturday, April 27th, from 11 to 1 p.m. in the Ventnor Library. It is for people who have still not totally recovered from Sandy. Are you a Sandy survivor? Are you still not home? Questions about supplemental funds will be answered. Do you have a RREM clawback? Do you experience everyday flooding? If you are concerned about the sea level rise, you need to attend this meeting. Again, it's in Ventnor, Saturday, April 27th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at their library, 6500 Ventnor, or Atlantic Avenue. And I think that's it.
Thank you, Karen.
Karen, real quick, if I may.
I'm sorry.
Just
I
to
do
add
have-
to that,
Yes.
we're going to put it up on the city's Facebook page.
Okay, good.
We'll make the slide available on Channel 97 as well.
Okay. One other thing, just reminding people that as of June 1st, Brigantine will be plastic bag-free community. John Doring and I started today knocking at doors of businesses. We were really received pretty well. I was very happy with some of the major businesses on the island who have embraced this idea and are working with us. And again, more information to come soon. Thank you.
Thank you. You look lovely tonight with that dress. Paul?
They're still working with the county to get the crosswalks installed down by the promenade that we had promised, and it's going to come to fruition, but it's going to take a little while for them to move or get the painters down here to do the painting, but it's going to happen. They're also going to move some handicap signs around so that they're more accessible to the promenade ramps rather than at the other end where there's stairs. There was a little bit of an issue last week with some bike riders. There seems to be a group of young men who ride their bikes at night in the dark without lights or helmets.
And daytime.
Daytime. And they do wheelies up and down the street in the wrong direction, and oftentimes when they're approached by an individual, they'll harass them, call them names, etc. So there's going to be a notice in the Times paper this week from the police as to what they're going to do about it. I'm not going to say exactly what it is, leave it to the police department, but they are going to take some action. And to try to curtail youngsters riding their bikes without helmets, wrong way on the street, in large packs of people, cutting in and out of traffic, and basically harassing the drivers. Did you want to say something?
Just, you've covered it. We met with Chief Rehill. We gave our concerns to him. He's already had already been working with Captain Casamento, who's in charge of the Patrol Division, to start a little more rigorous enforcement of our bicycle laws. We know some of the players already. We're going to start from there and move outward.
We need to do something before the summer season because there'll be that many more.
Yeah.
And a lot more cars that don't know where they're going or where they're headed. These kids weaving out in and out become a real safety issue.
If the word gets out now that we're enforcing it and we're cracking down, the police department had a reputation for years about their enforcement. So if we can get that same kind of word out to the kids as they start coming down on the weekends, building towards summer, maybe that will help give them a little incentive to behave better. So Captain Rehill assures me that they'll take care of it, and I'll leave it to him and his men.
Yeah, thank you, and thank Captain Rehill.
Yes, sir.
He's a chief.
Chief, yeah.
Or did we demote him? Dennis?
Okay, this past Saturday, we had our annual baseball and softball parade, and girls and boys of summer will be out there in the field. They're out there already having a lot of fun, representing Brigantine well. We had a good, it was a fun year in baseball and softball this past year. I know a couple of awards are handed out. We recognized Brett Kennedy, first person out of Brigantine to make it to the major leagues, pitching for the San Diego Padres. That was an awesome thing. They also had their banquet at night, the baseball and softball league did, and had the pleasure of loosening up Mayor Simpson for his first pitch.
Hurt my hand.
And the Brigantine Hockey League also had their banquet, so it was a great weekend with our sports, as well as the Elks installation, which is such a great tradition. I just wanted to say maybe just one thing about the deferred compensation thing that we spoke about earlier for anybody out there. I'm not really familiar with AXA Equitable. I mean, I know they're like kind of into life insurance, and they have other, vehicles of investing in things of that nature. But I just wanted to say, if you want to expand on it a little bit, Jim. But I was just going to say that deferred compensation for anybody out there. And I used to tell the young guys when I was in the state police, the young guys coming in, if they have an opportunity to get in that, they should really just put a little bit away. Now, everybody wants to save and get a house and things of that nature, but anybody out there, you just put a little bit away. That money grows tax deferred, and you can really have an incredible little nest egg when you get older for your family. You might need that money, whether it be for education purposes or whatever you might want to do with it, just to have a good life. So I would never want to understate anything like that. As a matter of fact, I just want to highlight it. So, what would you want to say about that AXA? I don't know a whole lot about it. Okay, all right.
Rick?
I have nothing to add to that. Presentation by Councilman Haney with investment advice. Please be advised that past results do not guarantee future results.
Thank you for the disclaimer.
Councilman Reardon?
Just a week from this Sunday, we have the Cultural Arts Commission is putting on their event at Laguna Grill on Sunday, April 28th from 2 to 5 in the afternoon. It's a musical tribute to the anniversary of Woodstock and also music of the Beatles. Getting a fabulous response right now. They've almost sold nearly 100 tickets. It's $35 and includes a scrumptious, delicious buffet put out by Rip and Tony out there at Laguna Grill. And want to welcome everybody over there on Sunday, April 28th, a week from this Sunday. And other than that, the baseball and softball banquet on Saturday night was well attended and a really good time. A lot of singing and dancing going on there. And so that's that.
Thanks, Mike. Vince?
Reverend, thanks. First of all, I'd like to say that congratulate, obviously, our Public Works and our Chamber of Commerce. The Easter egg hunt was outstanding. We had some weather come in. I think they made some quick changes, and it was a lot of fun for all the kids, so congratulations on that. The other thing I'm going to ask John, too, is we have a shredding event coming up on May 18th, and that's really popular. What time does that start? Yeah, so 9 a.m. for the shredding event. It's going to be at the 17th Street parking lot, so 17th Street and the beach. We're also having a beach cleanup that same day, so if people would like to come out, shred some old materials they don't want anymore, and then come out and clean the beaches, we would appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's it.
Great.
Are you going to plant dune grass that day as well? I know there had been a little bit of discussion.
We've been planning it with the green team for the past week or so, and I don't have too much on.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Just a couple things for Jim and Chief Platt over here. I noticed on the news they were having some problems out in California that their police car had a flag on it. And it ticked off California, and they got all if we get a new police car, I'd like to see the font in the word police, maybe red, white, and blue.
I'll be happy to pass that on to Chief Rehill, and as a matter of follow-up, the town council there came to their senses and
Yes.
voted not to get rid of it.
It was like 1,000-to-1 or something
Yes.
like that. I know that, but I thought the police car, even the fire, if we get a piece of fire equipment or something like that, I think that would...
You give me a ladder truck, I will put a big flag on it for you.
New Tahoe?
Big flag.
You'll be retired.
New Tahoe.
You'll be retired by then.
I'm sure. Mayor, can I address something real quick? I'm sorry.
I just want to tell you one other thing that, it was kudos to you guys. A friend of mine had a massive heart attack. You guys were there within 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I know that's a lot of luck, but you shocked him 6 times to bring him back to life. And he's still alive today, and it was amazing. His wife and everything, can't, tell you how grateful she was, and she keeps on saying it was 30 seconds, and she tells everybody in Brigantine it was 30 seconds, and, and that was part of the police department who was there too, because they were the first one on scenes. So, kudos to you guys again for another life saved in Brigantine.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor.
Go ahead, Chief.
I just wanted to address something. My phone kind of exploded yesterday afternoon when a local Facebook page posted a picture of a vehicle on the beach with a fire going. And my phone exploded saying, hey, bonfires allowed on the beach, and I know we just passed a bonfire permit for a special event. So just to clear any confusion up, because I had to text this out 20 times yesterday, bonfires are not allowed on the beach. Special events with special permit, then the fire official can give approval for that. But the picture, I guess it was from a local realtor, alluded to, hey, if you lived here, you could be doing this. Well, with a permit and following the proper measures, you absolutely could. So I just wanted to clear that up, because I know my phone exploded yesterday with people asking me, about bonfires on the beach. So.
Okay, thank you, Keith. Okay, I'm going to open it up to the public. Anything the public wants to talk about, come up to the microphone. Have your name and address into the record.
Is this being recorded?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
You're on TV, too.
Oh, okay. My name is Sonia Makarski, and I am a resident of Jenkins Parkway. Okay? I heard a lot of discussion tonight about one of the councilmen...
What's the address?
1103 Jenkins Parkway. I heard one of the councilmen tonight talk about beautiful city of Brigantine. I'm hearing a lot about these renters who come in residential areas and behavior that's not consistent with the residential area. I'm hearing about noise. Well, I've been here for 23 years in Brigantine. I absolutely love Brigantine. I've been coming here since I was 16 and was fortunate enough to buy a house when I was 30. I have kids here. I have family here. We have lived on one of the most beautiful streets in Brigantine, Jenkins Parkway, the widest street. Maybe I wanted a bigger home, but I stayed there because of the tranquility of the bay, the golf course, everything that I have loved, and I'm still there, and I want to stay there. This was my retirement home. This was everything to us. So you can understand the heart, how I felt when I came up to my house 2 weeks ago and I saw the support structure in front of my house that I understand is going to be eye level with my deck. Eye level. I was supposed to be in New York today working. I couldn't even go to work. I have been heartbroken, totally heartbroken, that I worked so hard all these years to pay my house off, to maybe retire, to give it to my children, and I now have an eyesore sitting in front of me. It's beyond words for me. It's just beyond words, and all the residents on Jenkins Parkway. It's a monstrosity. I welcome any of you to go there and look at it from my view, and just look at it and just think of it. Not only am I heartbroken, but the monetary value of my home is gone. No one is going to go buy my house at any point in time when there's 1 million homes in Brigantine. I'm probably going to have to give my home away. So I have questions, but I want you to understand how heartbroken. My kids have been texting me all night. They grew up on the beach. We are here, maybe we're not here at Christmas, but we're here year-round. We fish, we pay taxes, we have a boat here. We knew Jersey State Marina for years. We knew everyone. We've been here for a very long time, enjoying everything here. We have beach passes. So the monstrosity that Brigantine has decided to keep on our street, to put there, is just beyond words, beyond words. In July 2016, I went and met with John Doring because our median strip was crumbling. And I asked him, I said, what is going on here? My kids couldn't even play on the island.
We don't just walk our dogs there. We actually play on there, and I don't like people who do walk their dogs there. We make sure our dog goes in our yard. But we enjoy playing there, the kids have, but the bottom line is, I asked him about this, what are we doing about it? And he said, it's a long process. We're aware of it. We see the sinkholes. I said, but you put sticks up. I said, I want to go and put plywood over it so nobody gets hurt. If you do that, we're going to carton it off, he said, with orange tape. How would you like that? Well, I was heartbroken just by that, but we let that go. He said, we're working on it. Engineers are going to come in. So I'm like, okay. In August, I called him back. He said, I have nothing more to tell you. Then in in 2017, we get a letter from the city of Brigantine, and it warns us that we're in a flood zone. Well, my home did not have any damage whatsoever. We were all fine on Jenkins Park, but I know behind us had some issues. We were totally fine. The letter from the city of Brigantine said, you live in a flood zone, you need to take precautions. Okay, still no talk about pump stations. John Doering did not say anything about a pump station, nothing. Okay, I'm not privy to all the meetings that occur, but everybody knows how to get a hold of us if we do something. We have addresses, we get notices. So, my concern here is, how were we notified? Does anyone know how the residents on Jenkins Parkway were notified? Does anybody know? That's one of my questions. I want to know how. And if you know, I want to see a copy of the documentation. I would like to see that. Because right now, we have had no notices. I spoke to people on my street today. Now again, I had no idea that this pump station was going to look like a house. You put it in the middle of a residential section. We all live there. The homes are all around, and I'm sure you all know, I'm sure you know you put it there. But it's in the middle of all our homes. The poor old people who live there, they're not going to have their view of the bay anymore. The poor lady who I saw today who's distraught, she's old, she goes, I don't know what to do. I said, well, I'll speak for you, Natalie. She's heartbroken. The Klauses, there's enough people who are heartbroken by this. So I want to say to you, there are options. And I know you may think it's too late, but it's not too late. We've done our homework too. But my concern is, I am begging you, that I would like you to take a reprieve from this and stop, and let's have a council meeting with people, like all of us people from Jenkins Parkway, so we could talk about this. I'm begging you to stop and do nothing else so we can wrap our heads around the gravity of this situation. I can't sell my house. I'm not going to be able to go anywhere else and afford anything. I thought maybe, again, retirement, but that's not going to happen now. Now,
5 minutes?
okay, I would like Ed Vance to talk, because he has a follow-up, if that's okay.
Can you listen to me for a second? I'm the mayor.
Okay. And I thank you for listening to me.
I have your email, and I have been in contact with our city manager today, also our
City who?
manager,
Okay.
Jim Bennett, our city manager, our city engineer. I asked him about moving that. I asked him about the cost of moving that. I went to our CFO, she's in the back, right back there, to find the money to move that. Right now, we're in the process of finding how much it is, and if we can move it, and wherever we can move it at. But once we move it to somebody else is going to have a complaint. So we have to put it someplace where it doesn't affect anybody, and that's tough. Tough part to put there. I'm on top of it. I asked our Second Ward Councilman Paul Lettieri, which is this man right here. As soon as I get all the information and we come up with a game plan, he's going to notify everybody in Jenkins Parkway, and we're going to either have the meeting at the golf course or this chamber, and we'll sit down and talk to you and tell you what the options are. We are on top of that. I wouldn't want that there either. I saw it. I saw it 2 weeks ago when the neighbor called me, Ann Wininski. She's trying to sell that lot next door.
She called because I talked to her, and she said it's not bad. I said, I think you should go look at it.
Yeah, and Councilman Reardon, he called me today, and I told him I was working on it. So I am working on it, and I don't want to say I'm going to stop them from working because we did that one time and we got sued for over $1 million delay.
But why would we sue you if you stop it? We wouldn't.
You wouldn't, the contractor would.
Well...
So, there's all kind of litigations and everything.
Trust me, I understand all of that.
And we're, you know, I'm working on it, I'm on top of it, you know, my assistant Ryan Hurst gave me all your emails.
Okay.
You talked to Matt Doring talked to me. We had a meeting today at lunchtime. I actually had a golf tournament. I actually rode by there today, and I saw it again. I saw it 2 weeks ago, and I've been working on it. I didn't want to come to you until I had some information that, you know, I don't want to say maybe this, maybe that. I went, like I said, if we have the money to move it, and we have some place to put it, and we'll just tell you the options. We'll get the whole neighborhood together and tell you what the options are. Either I build a structure around it to make it look like a house, that it's beautiful, I'll put landscape in there, whatever. I wouldn't want that in my front yard either.
We don't want any landscaping right now. We want it to be, we want the generator to be moved.
Yeah.
I mean,
The problem is you're jeopardizing the whole neighborhood because we don't have that pump station.
no one said you can't have it, but I'm not going to...
But nobody wants it in their yard.
But I think there are other options, and I don't want to take up more time when I know some of my other residents.
But your city representative, which is Paul Lettieri right there, will set up a meeting with you guys, and me and Mike Reardon and Paul will come down with the city engineer and our city manager and see what we can work out.
Well, and I thank you. I thank you all because it's very heart-wrenching, beyond words, beyond words. I do want to, do you know how we were notified about this project?
I don't think we have to notify, do we?
Ryan and Matt are going through the original files that were dated up 3 years ago now to try and find out how the notifications were.
This is the one that was, we had to eliminate the engineer on because it took so long?
Yes.
This was a project started back in 2012, or 13, I'm sorry.
Well, so far Matthew said that he sees no documentation because we have nothing. We save every single thing. When you do get a hold of us, are you going to be sending information to the addresses that are on the tax record?
Either Paul's going to walk around, knock on your door, or we'll send you out a certified email, certified mail to you.
Okay.
We want to sit down as soon as possible, probably next week.
I'm ready
Yeah.
tomorrow. I mean, that's how bad the situation is.
Well, I would have done it on Friday, but it's Good Friday, and
I understand.
the place is closed.
I have to make hand pies, so that's okay.
So,
Okay, then.
so
thank you very-
we're working on the plan. We want to bring some options to you guys and tell you what we possibly can do.
All right, and I...
And we'll just work together.
Okay, yes.
What is your address?
1103 Jenkins Parkway. Do you want my address at home?
No, I just need the address.
Because you could get my, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be on tax.
I'll tell you what, after the meeting, because it shouldn't be that long, why don't you give them your phone number and stuff like that.
Anybody else is here wants to give me a phone number and an
Yeah.
address,
Yeah.
I'll be glad.
I don't want you to say it in public, but...
No, I appreciate that, and thank you all. Thank you.
Okay?
Good evening. I'm Ed Fans. That's my lovely wife, who spoke very passionately, as you can see, and I had a passionate speech prepared, but obviously I'll just save it. I appreciate the fact that you are already addressing this. I had sent a letter to Mayor Simpson.
That's me.
Yeah, I know. And thankfully you passed it along to Matthew Duran. Or is it Doran or Duran?
Well, Doran.
Doran.
We actually had a meeting today, me and the city manager, Jim Bennett, with Matt Doran.
Yeah, and he's been keeping me in the loop with what's going on, and I really appreciate the fact that he's doing that.
Like I said, we're going to have a meeting with, anybody that wants to come. We'll sit down and give you the options of what we can do down there.
Okay, now, I would like to say one thing to the public. If you don't know what this structure looks like, it's the abutments come out of the island. Right now, they're about 10 feet high. And they're going to put a concrete pad on top of the abutments and a 6-foot-high generator and a 6-foot-high chain link fence. So this structure will be literally, as I'm standing on my deck, eye level with...
I've been there. I was just there today.
Okay.
Yep.
But however...
I completely understand.
I totally understand also that this project is necessary. And the pumps are underground. There's 2 pumps underground. Let's stay there. But you can take that generator, put it in a remote location, provide power to those pumps. That can be done. I'm very well aware of generators. I've been in the construction business for over 30 years.
Yeah, so am I. You got to have bigger pumps, and you got change orders, and, if it's not a ton of money, it's a different...
Yeah, and you'd still, everybody's there, you're still going to need to have something on that island elevated, because you need to have electrical panels.
Well, everything has to be elevated as high as it is there.
Yeah, it will, but it'll be a less obtrusive structure, I do, as opposed to what you have there now. Panels.
The thing is, where are we going to put it?
Well, I was over there tonight, looking around, and if you relocated it to that golf course side where there's already a sewage pumping station, there's room there for it, and that would be one location I would recommend.
Behind that guy's house?
Well, it's better...
It's better behind his house than in front of your house. That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. He's already got 2 or 3 houses right there behind him. I know it's not an ideal situation.
No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
Wherever we put it, we're going to have a little discussion.
Well,
and the other problem we're going to have is there's 2 or 3 more going up in Brigantine, so we move every year, and I'm not saying we're not going to move it, but it's going to be tough.
Right.
Okay. It's going to be expensive.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your attention to that.
My CFO back there, her ears just perked up, because I know when I say expensive, she knows how much expensive it is.
Yeah, also the question would be why we weren't notified, and I know you're looking into that.
Right.
And because then we could have had input into this whole process.
Right.
Maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation tonight.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public want to come up and... You're not going to talk about the same thing, are we?
What?
You're not going to talk about the same thing, are we?
Of course I am.
Okay, go ahead.
I live across the street from them.
And-
My name is Essie Trepel. I live at 1102 Jenkins Parkway.
Microphone, say it.
I need it. I'm not loud enough.
Not for people at home.
My name is Effie Trepel. I live at 1102 Jenkins Parkway.
Mm-hmm.
I just bought the home not even a year ago. April 28th actually will be a year. I had no idea what was going on with this property, that this was being built across the street from my home. I definitely would not have bought it if I knew anything about this. I don't know why my real estate agent wasn't notified, why I wasn't notified by the city when I bought the property that something was going on in the area. I'm just really upset about it.
Like I said, we'll get in contact with you, we'll sit down, and work something out.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else?
Hi there, how you doing? My name's Rhonda. I also am a owner of 1103, our Brigantine House.
1103 Jenkins?
1103 Jenkins Parkway,
okay.
yes. You had mentioned that you're not going to stop the project. I'm just a little concerned with that, because if it gets totally built...
I'm going to move quickly, but I'd have to talk to my solicitor over here and see if we can stop it without penalty. That's, I'm not going to promise you something that gets the city in trouble, and it makes the job worse.
I understand, but if you continue to build it...
I understand what
And
you're
then
saying.
all of a sudden the generator's up and everything,
I
then it's going to
understand.
cost more money to take it down, and I'm not really sure if that's a great idea.
No, it isn't.
I went around, I looked where the other ones are, where the other pump stations are going.
They're not built yet.
Excuse me?
They're not all built yet.
I understand, but
Okay.
I could see the footings, and they're by the bay,
Yeah,
basically.
mostly it's by the bay.
Yes, it's a little bit different, because I'm not saying, I know that it's residential area in a way, but they're near the docks, and it is a little bit different than our situation. There's like over 15 homes involved here with this thing. I mean, you obviously...
We got a whole neighborhood we
Right,
have to
and
protect
I really
from our flooding,
seriously
too.
would love all of you to go and look at this, because It is, I mean, we cried. That's how bad it was. It's unacceptable, like, the fact that you would even, like, does the state even know about it? That where you put, like, I understand you get permits and all for this kind of thing, but did they actually know that you were going to put it there? Do you actually show them pictures of where you're going to put them?
We show them engineering reports, yes.
Do you show them pictures of the ground of where it's going? Do they see that there's houses around it? I'm just curious.
I would very much doubt the state would actually care where you...
You know what, but
Because I don't even think they would have...
I think if they knew exactly where you were going to put this, they wouldn't have given you a permit. And I'm going to, and that's just my feeling.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you're wrong, but...
Well, okay, well, I disagree. I really hope that you consider putting that generator somewhere else. I mean, it's just unacceptable. It's just so unfair. It really is.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
My name is Rhonda Mokarski,
And
1103 Jenkins.
Same house
Yes,
as on it.
I'm part owner, yes, we
Okay.
own the house. Okay, so, and I'm sorry, and I don't mean to be, you know, I'm very disappointed, actually, that you guys didn't reach out to us. I'm so disappointed that you didn't bring us together to talk about this. You know, we are people.
We got a lot of projects going on.
I understand, but this is a pretty big, anybody who understood this, that you just said that this was the first time you went there.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, okay,
I
well,
said
you went...
last week when I got the report, I went there,
Okay,
yeah.
so you went there and you looked at it, but you never went before there to see where they were putting it, did you?
No.
Right, so you had no idea, just
No.
like the state had no idea. This is a little bit different. It's right in the middle of homes. People, I've been there, people have been going by saying, oh my God, what are they doing? I mean, I just can't even believe, it's unbelievable that you would even do this to us. And I understand there's an importance here because of the flooding. I understand that, but there's a whole golf course over there. And there's a stream over there that you could have put it right on that stream. Those little golfers don't even care.
State of New Jersey would never let us put it on a stream.
Well, okay, that's fine, but you could have built the bridge and did something creative
They
over
won't let
there.
us build a bridge either.
Okay, that's fine. So you could have put it on the side. I mean, it could have went on the golf
It's something we're
course.
going to look at, you know?
I just can't understand that no one really took the time, the engineers, no one took the time to really look at this. I just can't believe it. You guys are all smart people with degrees and everything, and you do this to us. It's unimaginable. And thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Just as a follow-up, I understand what you're saying, that other people will be upset. And I took the time, along with my sister today, to go and look at the other two homes that are on the corner that would be beyond the stream. I understand that you can't put it in a stream. I'm aware of DEP, and I'm aware of...
I
the
know
law.
she's upset, you know.
Yeah,
and
she's
again,
very upset, but
Yeah.
because we just saw all this, so as we said. But I did take the time, and we looked at the other two homes. Those two homes, if it went behind the golf course, like on the golf course at the end of the street where the water main is, would be better off than it is now, because poor Mrs. Klaus won't see the bay anymore. And the
No.
big home, the big yellow home, this is square right in their view, they're not going to see the bay. But behind, if it went behind them, their view is not of the golf course. They have very few windows. I was there to see that. And I think if you could beautify it on the golf course, and it works with the grants and the money you got, I think everybody would agree that, yeah, we need it, we understand it, but now we have something we can work with and we can live with. We can't live with this, so I just want to pose that. Not everybody could be happy, but maybe the noise will be more, like everybody could absorb it. Right now, it's only us. Only our values are going to go down. I mean, so that's the issue. If it's over there, I think it's going to be better for everybody. So I just wanted to follow up with that. Thank you again.
Thank you. Then we have the issue of dealing with the state of New Jersey to allow us to put it on the golf course. That's not going to be easy either, so. Oh, yeah, we'll try. Gotta see how much money it is still, you know. Got to see, we have to look at the values of the project, so. We're working on it. We'll have a meeting with you guys, and you can vent to us, or I heard it already.
There's a property on the corner that's for sale that you could use.
We just can't use people's
You have a
properties.
property on 12th Street North to use for construction, right? Yeah.
Pump station?
You bought a piece of property on 12th
Right.
Street North
Right.
for a flood pumping station. Now,
Right.
there's a property on 11th Street North that's empty for sale. Why can't you use that? You could have bought it when it was in foreclosure for $60,000. You bought the other piece of property that was in foreclosure
Well,
for $90,000, I think. I'm just saying. You said it can't go on a golf course. I'm just giving you
I'm
another
not
option.
sure you can go on the golf course. We just tried to do something with the golf course, they wouldn't let us do it.
But on
So,
the side where the sewage pumping station, there's a sewage pumping station right next to the golf course.
correct.
Right, so it can
Yeah.
go right next to it.
There's a clubhouse on the
Can go
golf
above
course, I
it.
can't
Instead of
put a
having to fly
clubhouse
in the
over
air,
there
it can go in
anymore.
the air, right?
So,
Right? It can go above the sewage pumping station,
yeah.
so you could build around it. I'm just giving you another option.
Well,
Thanks.
We'll talk about options when we meet with you guys. Excuse me? Greek Easter. Paul will get in touch with you, and we'll set up an appointment, and we'll meet. And
One thing, Rhonda, just want you to know, there's about $25 million worth of infrastructure work going on in the city. And us up here, a lot of times, we don't know every particular of a project that's going on. And I can tell you that I certainly didn't know about the pump station going up right there and the pillars. And when the mayor says he's going to take care of something and take a look at it, is a very good possibility something will get done or there'll be answers quickly. We've had issues just recently, so, we hear you and we want
we'll look at it, and
we want to help, and that's why
there's nobody on this council or nobody in the city of Brigantine wants to hurt you guys. And we'll work it out somehow. I don't care about that. Don't say that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
That never comes in factor in my mind. I don't care anything. You're here, you have a problem, we're here to handle it. So, you're welcome. Have a nice Easter too. So, don't get all upset. We'll work on it. You're getting me upset. You don't want to get me upset. Well, if you're buying something. Anybody else from the public? Okay, I feel I'm going to close that portion, and I think we need a motion to adjourn.
Happy Easter to everyone. Happy Passover to everyone.
Is that a motion to adjourn?
And now I will make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for watching your government at work. Happy Easter, happy Passover, happy Greek Easter. God bless everybody, and thank you